talk about the importance of a sacred space. You know, a lot of times when we make environments beautiful, it contributes or it gives us permission in our subconscious mind to create an atmosphere that is relaxing, that's peaceful, and that's conducive to some sort of spiritual awakening. And what I mean by that is it can be anything from, a comfortable rug that you have, and, a picture or a painting of something beautiful, or if your higher power is personified as a human being, then get a picture of him or her, or a statue, or something to where you can get away from the chaos of the world, and you can sit and be quiet with yourself, and you can get into a routine. Now, a sacred space isn't necessary, to get in touch with God or with your higher power, but it's really useful, because what it does is when you get a sacred space, when you get incense or candles, or you get something that is very special to you, that transcends the normalcy of everyday life, then it actually gives your mind, and particularly your subconscious mind, an avenue or a reason to let go. And it's in that space, when you're praying, you're meditating, maybe you're just reading a good book, you're allowing your mind to expand a little bit. It's in that space where a lot of powerful things can happen. Because the power of prayer, in my experience and in my opinion, goes a lot further than simply praying to some higher power and hoping for the best. The power of prayer it sets a GPS in your mind to attain something. And when you pray to something that is greater than yourself, I choose to call God, when you direct your mind to that source of energy, a lot of times it really can manifest what you're praying for, particularly in a sacred space, to where you're vibrating with the energies and the frequencies of holiness, of kind of that sacred space, to where nothing can get at you. My sacred space actually is what's in the other room over there, and all I have is I have a comfortable rug, I have some candles and some incense, I have some pictures of various spiritual teachers that I resonate with, and I have some flowers as well, and when I go in there, it's very familiar. Every time I go in there, I burn the incense, I smell the incense, it in the cells of my body, it tunes in that kind of sacred feeling that I've created within that space. And it really does allow you to kind of transcend your own mind and transcend the stresses of the day, and it becomes like brushing your teeth. So when you go to this space, it could be 2 minutes a day. You just go in there, you take some deep breaths, you pray, whatever it is that you choose to pray. It could be a formal prayer or decree, or the way I like to do it is I just talk with my higher power. I kind of tune into myself, I tune into who I am as a man, where I am going, what my purpose is in this life, and then move forward from there. So if you don't have a sacred space and you're interested in these types of things, just create it. Just use your creativity, keep it simple. It doesn't have to be an altar, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, it's for you. But having that sacred space is so important and so crucial in terms of your development and getting into a routine of expanding your consciousness, getting into a routine of when you're in a dilemma or you're in a predicament or a bind in your life, go into this space, clearing your mind, and letting the solutions begin to flow. Because life can get so crazy that it's a wonderful treat to be able to have a little space. It could be a space in your room in the corner, to where you can get quiet, relax, and bring in some of those energies. It could be as simple as saying, thank you, God, for another day, or you can get into a conversation with your higher power. You can read some books that begin to elicit wisdom inside of you. The sky's the limit. There's no right or wrong way to do spirituality, in my experience and in my opinion. There's a lot of dogma that's attached to various routines, not just Christianity, even in the New Age world or in any other religious system of belief, where, you have to do it this way. And, there's 7 chakras, and the way to open the chakras is to get a little prong that vibrates at a certain tone, and on and on and on. But the fact is that these are all mechanisms, these are all rituals that people use that works in their subjective experience to create an experience. However, in actuality, you get to choose what it is that you want to do and the mechanisms and the routines and the ways that you use to elicit a higher power experience in you. And that's what's so cool about this, is that there is no right or wrong way. And if somebody's telling you that you're meditating the wrong way, or that you're praying to the wrong higher power, or that you don't understand, you need to go to this place and you need to do that and do this and do that, they're imposing their limited, imprisoned reality on you. And that's okay. That's where they're at. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that before myself. But the fact is that essentially you take what you can use and you leave the rest. There's no book that you were born with that you carry around that tells you how to reach these higher states, that tells you how to tune into your spirit. The book is all in here and in here. And normally it starts in the heart, and then when you feel it in the heart, or when you feel it in your gut, then it flows through your mind. Because usually, when we're in our intellect, or the critical faculty of our mind, we are all over the place. But when we feel a hunch could be, today I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to enjoy walking in nature, listening to the birds, looking at the sun shining through the tops of the trees as it trickles on down the ground. And as you walk, you feel at peace. That wasn't in a book, that wasn't a routine, that wasn't some sort of dogmatic system that was mandatory to follow. Because the fact is that every spiritual teacher on the planet, I cannot think of one that didn't teach this, not even Aleister Crowley or Anton LaVey, albeit their doctrines are very different and I don't resonate with them. The fact is that they taught is that the higher power is within. Jesus Christ, was a very big advocate of saying that the kingdom is within. It's not without. You don't have to chastise yourself with a belt 45 times because you looked at pornography or because you cussed at your grandmother in order to transmute that negative energy. Because believe it or not, people do that, and they believe that it works. And maybe it does. But I prefer not to have 35 lashes on my back that in my reality is unnecessary to simply forgive myself for being human and making a mistake. Whatever, mistake that would be. It's all in the mind. Whatever you can conceive and believe you can achieve. I believe that. Do I believe it's easy? No. Do I believe the vision isn't always manifested the way we expect it to be in the outside world? No. But the fact is that a lot of times, I notice in my life, if I'm doing something that's not working, which happens on a daily basis, then I'm very open to a system of beliefs or to an idea that resonates with me that I'm willing to try to replace what I've been doing for who knows how long that isn't working. So I just wanted to share that, creating a sacred space, transcending transcending some of the dogma that may be in your mind that was imposed upon you by other people, or you may be imposing it upon yourself. Nothing wrong with dogma, nothing wrong with being shackled to a system of rules and regulations that tell you how to be in contact with God. But if you feel that it's not serving you, then you can take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And you have the freedom to do that. And you also have the freedom to speak your truth if there's something that you don't agree with. So I love you guys. Headed off to bed. I just wanted to throw that out there. Good night.